Deep beneath the forbidden ice-locked plateaus of Patagonia, a terrifying and unprecedented geological anomaly directly challenges our entire documented history. For centuries, elite academic circles closely guarded these restricted mountain coordinates, enforcing total institutional silence regarding what lies buried far below. A recent cataclysmic seismic fracture violently split the ancient glacier, exposing a colossal, terrifying monument constructed of dark, completely unnatural stone. The monolith displays highly advanced, micro-machined precision cut lines, completely defying the primitive technical capabilities of early human tools. Subterranean radar scans carefully mapping the remote site revealed an immense, grid-like network of architecture stretching uniformly for miles. Before these terrifying findings could ever reach the general public, the entire institutional database was mysteriously and completely wiped clean. Spectroscopic core samples, painstakingly extracted from the outer dark layer, confirmed an impossible, ultra-thin protective metallic film surrounding it. This synthetic alloy contains highly unusual isotopic configurations that are only naturally synthesized during the cataclysmic death of massive stars. Why would a highly advanced cosmic material be intentionally hidden inside a prehistoric, pre-human mountain range on this planet? Deep within the silent primary bedrock, cryptic and complex astronomical charts were found deeply carved directly into the ancient stone. The petroglyphs accurately trace the southern constellations, but explicitly indicate a time when the entire planet's axis was completely inverted. The structural alignments date back hundreds of thousands of years, entirely demolishing our mainstream, safely guarded archaeological timeline. Mainstream institutions aggressively bury the evidence, terrified of publicly admitting that a supreme technological era long predated human existence. To uncover the full, forbidden truth of Patagonia is to realize that humanity is definitely not the first master species. We are merely temporary, fragile inhabitants, walking unknowingly above the monumental, silent ruins of an ancient, completely forgotten world. The deep geological fractures beneath Patagonia reveal a terrifying, silent architecture that defies any conventional historical explanation. Every monolithic layer was meticulously engineered to successfully withstand millions of tons of shifting polar ice over eons. Mainstream geological science simply cannot comprehend the incredible structural endurance of these massive, pitch-black subterranean walls. Ancient structural joints are flawlessly fused together without leaving behind a single historical trace of primitive mortar. Thermal satellite imagery recently detected a faint, highly unnatural heat signature leaking directly from the deep, frozen abyss. An ironclad military blockade now strictly seals off the entire permafrost excavation zone from any independent investigation. The global elite quickly classified all recent topographic surveys under deep national security protocols to prevent any leak. What terrible, forbidden history are they so desperately hiding beneath the frozen, jagged peaks of South America today? Deep core drilling successfully extracted ancient sediments containing highly radioactive, microscopic glass spheres of unknown origin. These unique fused particles only form during high-energy, thermonuclear planetary events that completely defy natural explanations. This dark, undeniable truth shatters the comforting, linear fairy tale of progressive human evolutionary advancement over time. A supreme prehistoric era was utterly and violently vaporized long before our modern history books even began. The surviving obsidian foundations remain as grim, eternal monuments to their incredibly violent and sudden cosmic end. Cold mountain winds howl mournfully through empty, colossal stone gateways built by entirely unknown, non-human hands. The deeper we look into this abyss, the more we realize human civilization is just a fleeting shadow. Under the ancient sedimentary layers, massive geometric basements run significantly deeper than any modern industrial extraction mines. Every advanced scan reveals immense, hollow structures carved straight into the dense planetary core with impossible ease. The sheer, terrifying scale of these deep underground plazas completely paralyzes any standard academic or scientific interpretation. How could such titanic architectural balance exist long before the very first primitive nomadic human tribes appeared? Satellite gravitational maps clearly show intense, highly localized mass concentrations hidden deep beneath the massive southern ice field. Elite academic circles quickly and falsely classified these strange density readings as mere natural glacial compression phenomena. Yet, no natural compression can produce perfectly rectangular, uniform subterranean voids stretching continuously for several miles. Mysterious, rhythmic electromagnetic pulses continue to leak directly from the central structural well of the ancient monument. These regular, highly structured signals completely scramble and blind standard scientific data gathering instruments in the area. Is this vast frozen network an ancient, dormant planetary defense array left behind from pre-flood cosmic eras? The terrifying truth points directly to a cyclic destruction that systematically resets human evolution back to zero. Our current high-tech era is likely just another fragile, temporary layer of historical dust waiting to be erased. Massive black granite pillars still stand, cold and unyielding against the relentless passage of millions of years. No human hands ever built these colossal thresholds, yet they remain perfectly preserved here in the permafrost. We are walking directly over an immense langm that holds the forgotten primordial ancestors of planet Earth. Beneath the oldest ice layers, huge mineral faults run much deeper than any modern commercial extraction method. Every advanced scan confirms massive subterranean voids cut with absolutely impossible, flawless mathematical and geometric precision. The terrifying scale of these hidden obsidian plazas completely paralyzes contemporary academic interpretation and historical dogma. How could such titanic architectural balance exist before the first prehistoric human cultures even learned to build? Satellite gravitational mapping indicates intense, highly localized density anomalies locked deep inside the ancient mountain roots. Elite scientific institutions quickly classified these readings as mere natural geological crystalline compression to deceive the public. Yet, natural geological compression cannot explain perfectly squared corridors stretching uniformly for many miles beneath the ice. A faint, rhythmic electromagnetic pulse continues to leak constantly from the central dark well of the structure. These constant, structured signals completely overwhelm and scramble all standard scientific data-gathering instruments near the site. Is this frozen network an ancient planetary machine, left over from a long-forgotten, advanced cosmic era? The evidence points directly to a devastating cyclic cataclysm that periodically resets global civilization entirely throughout history. Our modern technological world is likely just another fragile, brief layer of historical dust in Earth's timeline. Colossal black monoliths still stand, silent and completely immune to the freezing, destructive polar temperatures around them. No human hands carved these titanic thresholds, yet they remain perfectly intact and functional today under the ice. We are standing directly above an immense tomb belonging to a completely forgotten primordial world of giants. The frozen abyss of Patagonia slowly surrenders its most terrifying, deep-seated geological secrets to modern subsurface radar. Ancient structural geometry remains perfectly preserved inside the darkest, most inaccessible subglacial chambers ever discovered. Mainstream institutions simply cannot comprehend the complete structural immunity of these Titan obsidian walls against time. Every massive stone junction was flawlessly fused together without a single historical trace of primitive mortar or cement. Thermal geological scans clearly detected an active energy void throbbing deep inside the ancient basalt bedrock. An elite military perimeter tightly seals off the entire permafrost excavation zone from the outside world today. Global authorities quickly classified the primary topographic files under strict, high-level global security protocols and censorship. What forbidden history lies deeply buried beneath the ancient, jagged ice caps of South America's most remote regions? Subterranean core samples contain unique microspheres of fused glass originating from a prehistoric, high-energy thermal event. These radioactive particles definitively prove a cataclysmic planetary flash occurred here eons before modern human history. This dark truth completely shatters the comfortable, linear progression of the popular human evolutionary myth taught in schools. A sovereign prehistoric era was completely and ruthlessly erased long before our written records even began. The surviving monolithic foundations stand as cold, eternal witnesses to a massive, forgotten global apocalypse. Freezing polar winds howl through empty, titanic stone gateways built by an anonymous, highly advanced prehistoric species. The deeper we look into the ice, the more we realize humanity is merely a passing, fragile shadow. The frozen abyss of Patagonia slowly surrenders its most terrifying, deeply buried geological secrets to modern explorers. Ancient, unyielding architectural geometry remains perfectly preserved inside the darkest, most isolated subglacial chambers imaginable. Mainstream geological science simply cannot comprehend the total structural immunity of these massive, pitch-black obsidian walls. Every titanic stone junction was perfectly fused together without a single historical trace of primitive mortar or tools. Thermal satellite scans recently detected an active energy void throbbing deep inside the ancient basalt bedrock. An elite military perimeter tightly seals off the entire permafrost excavation zone to prevent any public leaks today. Global authorities immediately classified the primary topographic files under strict, unyielding global security protocols. What forbidden history lies buried forever beneath the ancient, jagged ice caps of South America's remote wilderness? Subterranean core samples contain microspheres of fused glass left behind by a prehistoric, highly destructive thermal event. These radioactive particles conclusively prove a cataclysmic planetary flash occurred here eons ago, wiping out everything. This dark truth thoroughly shatters the comfortable, linear progression of the mainstream human evolutionary myth. A sovereign prehistoric era was completely and systematically erased long before our written records ever began. The surviving monolithic foundations stand as cold, eternal witnesses to a forgotten, planet-wide apocalypse. Freezing polar winds howl through empty, titanic gateways built by an anonymous, highly sophisticated pre-human species. The deeper we look into this mystery, the more we realize humanity is merely a passing shadow. The deeply buried basalt layers under Patagonia conceal an unforgiving, silent architecture that predates human existence. Ancient geometric foundations remain perfectly stable beneath billions of tons of crushing, shifting glacial weight. Mainstream geological science cannot comprehend the immense structural endurance of these ancient, deep-seated walls. Every single block alignment was perfectly fused together with total micro-machined surface precision and zero tolerance. Deep thermal mapping scans detected an active magnetic void throbbing rhythmically inside the ancient black stone. A heavily guarded military zone strictly isolates the entire permafrost perimeter from any civilian access today. International authorities completely classified the primary topographic files under maximum global security and total secrecy. What terrible history lies hidden beneath the frozen ancient ice caps of the Patagonian wilderness? Subterranean core extractions contain rare microparticles of melted obsidian from a massive prehistoric thermonuclear event. These unique vitrified elements prove a cataclysmic thermal flash occurred here eons ago, melting solid rock instantly. This dark reality completely shatters the comfortable, linear myth of progressive human evolutionary development. A highly advanced prehistoric era was entirely erased from the Earth long before our documented history began. The surviving monolithic basements stand as cold, eternal witnesses to a forgotten world of supreme technology. Freezing mountain winds howl through empty, titanic stone thresholds built by completely unknown, prehistoric master builders. The further we explore beneath the ice, the more we realize human civilization is just a shadow. The frozen abyss of Patagonia slowly surrenders its most terrifying, deep-seated geological mysteries to modern technology. Ancient structural geometry remains perfectly balanced inside the darkest, most hostile subglacial chambers on Earth. Mainstream institutions simply cannot comprehend the complete structural immunity of these Titan obsidian walls against decay. Every massive stone junction was seamlessly fused together without a single historical trace of primitive mortar. Deep thermal scans clearly detected an active energy void throbbing under the solid, ancient basalt bedrock. An elite military perimeter tightly seals off the entire permafrost extraction zone from public view today. Global authorities classified the primary topographic files under strict, unbreakable global security protocols and censorship. What forbidden history lies buried beneath the ancient, jagged ice caps of remote South America? Subterranean core samples contain microspheres of fused glass from a prehistoric cosmic flash of immense power. These unique radioactive particles definitively prove a cataclysmic thermal event occurred here eons ago. This dark truth utterly shatters the comfortable, linear progression of the popular human evolutionary myth. A sovereign prehistoric era was completely erased from existence long before our history books were written. The surviving monolithic foundations stand as cold, eternal witnesses to a forgotten, devastating global apocalypse. Freezing polar winds howl through empty, titanic gateways built by an anonymous, highly advanced non-human species. The deeper we look into the abyss, the more we realize humanity is merely a passing shadow. The deepest crystalline structures below the massive ice shield vibrate with a low, completely untraceable frequency. Every advanced seismic sensor detects a vast, intricate geometric lattice deeply embedded in the bedrock. The terrifying scale of these hidden obsidian foundations completely paralyzes contemporary geological science and theory. No known natural erosion can form perfectly parallel subterranean channels for hundreds of miles straight. Initial gravity anomalies point to an immense, unnatural mass displacement deep inside the mountain core. Elite scientific institutions quickly altered public records to mimic standard, non-threatening tectonic activity reports. Yet, the geometric alignment of the black stone vaults remains impossibly precise, deliberate, and perfectly squared. A faint, cyclic electromagnetic surge continues to emit directly from the deep, central architectural abyss. These structured signals completely overwhelm and blind all international marine and aerial radar systems nearby. Is this dark grid an ancient energy network left behind from a pre-flood, advanced global civilization? The hidden data clearly suggests a cyclic planetary purge that systematically resets all intelligent life on Earth. Our entire modern technological world is merely a fragile, temporary skin over massive, forgotten ruins. Massive, unyielding stone structures stand in absolute dark silence, mocking the brief passage of human time. No primitive human culture could ever conceive these gargantuan doorways locked deep within the permafrost. We are standing directly above the monumental, terrifying remains of a supreme prehistoric global era. The massive black structures under Patagonia openly challenge every single piece of conventional, mainstream geological history. Mainstream institutions will continue to suppress the evidence, hiding these ancient geometric chambers from the public forever. But the monumental foundations remain frozen in time, waiting patiently for the next cyclic awakening. Humanity is merely a passing tenant on an ancient planet, actually owned by forgotten architects. This documentary is for educational purposes only, based on real sources, though theories are not facts.